Minister JBoyce, and the topic is the African American music, gospel music tradition. And of course, Minister Boyce, let's have you to continue our conversation, but at the same time to recognize that there are a large number of young people who would like to become involved in the music profession. And I think your career as a publisher, as a writer, and of course as a singer having a gold record and etc., it indicates that you got a lot of information. And let's sort of share some of that information with them. What if they wanted to become involved? As a matter of fact, a young lady that I met at one of the malls quite recently had some idea of wanting to become involved in publishing a song. Well, what would your advice be to her?
Okay, just to
sort of get her name out there and to get somebody to listen to her music, and what are some of the steps?
Well, some of the steps that I would think are to put together the right presentation of her song, whether she's able to sing it or to have someone else to do that. It does not have to be full blown. It can be with a piano or a guitar, so long as the substance of the lyrics and the melodies are there. I would also have it critiqued before I started presenting it, and to get some professional advice on that. I would also get some professional advice as it relates to setting up her own publishing and becoming an entrepreneur and learning the business side of the music industry, because we are pretty much like in my book that I'm working on, which is entitled Black Music in America, the New Cotton Field. Basically, we come into the music industry sharecropping. We come in offering our services, our assets, which are our music, our instrumentation, everything that we're able to do, and we give it away. And we go into business with major entities who just see us coming, and their expectation is just that we're going to first of all give up everything. And I would advise that individual to first of all look at their options for negotiating, not giving up any publishing. And if publishing is required in order for them to do business, then there need to be some groundwork laid, such as participation, perhaps that company participating in mechanical royalties or something like that, to where they would retain the copyright themselves, and only giving up that which somebody pays for, you know, and they can either pay for it via services or providing some advantages that person may not have that justify them sharing in that. And that's how we do business with all of our artists. We're in partnership with our artists. We don't take their publishing. And plus, we teach our artists the business. We teach our writers the business. Everybody at our company, the Arise Group, is in a learning process. A lot of our artists are in college because we want, in some instances, I told one young lady, you know, if you decide that you want to sign with us and you're going to quit school to do that, then don't plan on signing with us, because we prefer you to be educated. But to better understand the implications of music industry, we do consult, and I can be reached at the Arise Group at 615-321-3911. I do consultations for a fee, and the information is very valuable, so we put a price on it, but at the same time you're going to pay a whole lot more if you go out there and get ripped off.
You know, as a matter of fact, I think that has been quite common.
Yes.
In other areas of music, and is that the same in gospel music, which is to say artists come along with songs and they'll sing, and
very much
somebody else will end up with the rights for those songs, and the artists end up without anything, almost a pauper before the
very much so.
Talk about that, how that happens.
Well, for instance, we have some major artists out here, and I'm familiar with some of their agreements. Some of them are still getting advance royalties, who've had millions and millions of albums to sell, and they're in the gospel industry, and they're still getting advance royalties.
Meaning, what do you mean?
What I mean by that is that they're still in the red. They're still sharecropping. They have not understood that you get to the point that you become either the record label yourself, and the publisher yourself, and you use some of that money to get yourself off the plantation, because you are still there if you're still getting advanced royalties, and you never get out of the black, because the labels inflate the cost of marketing when they're outsourcing the marketing to independents. They inflate the cost of publicity and promotion and all of that, and it's charged back to the artist. When you do a campaign or go out on a promotional tour, the first one is always almost free. And then when you actually get to the point that you are selling and you do have a record out, then you have to make your money on the road. That's why a lot of the older artists are still on the road instead of sitting on the island somewhere or owning an island, because the record labels retain all the rights to everything, the rights to the masters. Everything is retained by them, so that keeps you in the cotton field. That keeps you still trying to make up that bail that's still not satisfactory to the owner of your music.
Would this be a right development? For example, if an individual has a song that they've either written the song or can sing the song, and then they go to a publisher, the publisher will give them what you call an advance royalty.
Or they'll put them on salary.
Promise them $10,000 for that record, and of course they're paupers almost to begin with, and they will basically sign anything to get some kind of contract.
And then
they'll have the master of that particular record. And
not only do they retain the masters to it, but they cross-collateralize their royalties with all of the other agencies where sources of funds come. For instance, if you're signed with BMI or ASCAP or CSAC, that publisher may cross-collateralize any funds that you may have coming from any of those entities, which is totally wrong. You know, they should only receive that which they work for. A lot of agencies, as it relates to publishers, make promises about exploiting your music to the fullest, but in reality, they're waiting for you to do the work. And if you don't do the work, they drop you, and they keep your publishing, and that's wrong. You know, there should be limitations as to how long that publisher retains your publishing, where if there's no activity on it, then there should be a buyout, or there should be a signing out of that agreement.
Meaning that if there's no activity on whatever that publication might be, it means that one day, 10 or 15 years from now, the company can keep that publication even though there's no activity. You're going off somewhere else, and 10 or 15 years from now somebody will come along and make that as a hit record, and then you don't get anything at all out of it. Is that what you're saying?
Because you may be the person that initiates that, when it's in reality the job of the publisher to exploit. Okay, and the publisher's just sitting there waiting on it to cash in, pretty much. And those are the kinds of things that a lot of new writers just are not aware of. We have a lot of information to share in that regard for writers, producers, artists, and we would love to help. That's what the Arise Group was established for. It is we now have a black presence again on Music Row. From the days of Dylan and Boyce, now it's the Arise Group with Jesse Boyce, Lorenzo Washington, Dion Brown, Anthony Graves. 4 black men who put our funds and our ideas together with a vision, and we're there as a refuge for artists. Now we don't sign everybody that comes through, and we don't fund everybody that comes through, but we're looking at ways of funding individuals who do want to do this.
So if there's an individual who might be watching this morning who has either has something to publish or think that they can sing or whatever, et cetera, that you would encourage them to come by and at least have a consultation with your organization to find out exactly whether or not they are as good as they think that they are.
Absolutely, absolutely. And our contact person at the office is Corey Jenkins. And Corey is there to also help these young people set up their businesses as well, because they don't think about partnership, they don't think about corporations, etc. We also have that aspect available as well.
Very good.
And a studio.
And of course, I think you're ready. In other words, if they've got the talent and they've got the desire and they've got something to be published, that you're ready to serve as as a conduit for them to reach a larger market.
In addition to being a company for profit, we do make sure that we provide those services.
Okay, very good. And of course, Mr. Boyce, let me thank you for bringing us that excellent information dealing with the Arise group
Absolutely.
and some of the additional information. But I think that in a real sense, that is the continuation of the tradition of the African American gospel music.
Most
Because it's
definitely.
breaking with the tradition. And of course, let me encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good night.